welcome to Battlbox. I love you.
I love you. Okay.
Hey, this is Gray Fox.
And I'm Vixen.
And welcome to Battlebox Mission 30 review.
Yay!
Yay! So with no further ado, let's just crack her open. Here is the card.
Giant card.
Giant card. I like that they're putting on the big cards.
I do too.
Well, you can read it without your glasses.
I know, it's awesome.
Sweetness. Okay, where are we going?
So starting out with the basic box,
Mm-hmm.
the $24.99 cost.
Mm-hmm.
The first item we have is the Iosat Potassium Iodine Tablets.
Iodide.
Iodide tablets.
Yep, that's okay. So, this is what they look like.
Maybe I do need my glasses after all.
You might. So what these do is they block your thyroid from intaking any radiation. Your thyroid is a part of your endocrine system, which produces a lot of the chemicals in your body, and it takes care of your metabolism and everything else. So people who have thyroid issues, they have to take medicines to speed up their thyroid so that they can increase their metabolism, right? And so if you get all sorts of junk in there in your endocrine system, you can push it through your heart and through your brain and everything else, right? And once your thyroid gets filled up with radiation, you're pretty much screwed. There's really no getting it out. So what this does is it blocks it from getting in, which also isn't good for you, but it's better than having that radiation in there, right?
Sure.
Cool?
Cool. So that's a $7 value.
$7? Good safety for $7.
Okay. So the next item we have is the Radiac Wash Towelettes.
Okay. Radiac Wash Towelettes. So these are to wipe away radioactive contamination. They really need to have these in like the big towel size, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like the giant towels.
Yeah.
Because these little things, I mean, I think I'd be able to clean off maybe my hand. You know, I mean, Christ, I got to use 3 of them to clean ribs off my mouth when I'm eating ribs. So I don't know how far these are going to go. Keep away from the eyes, mucous membranes, sensitive skin, cuts and abrasion, and then flood-affected area with water. Okay. So yeah, I don't know exactly how useful these will be, because you're going to have to wash yourself off with water, and to find a clean water source, you're going to have to create it, right?
Right.
Unless you have like us, we keep a ton of 5-gallon bottles in our house, like at least 10 bottles. 10.
Right.
So we have 50 gallons of water at all times.
Right.
That's purified and clean and sealed.
So for us, it's really pretty practical to keep all that water because, you know, we live in Florida and it is hurricane season. So just in case, you know, the power goes down or the water is contaminated somehow, we always have fresh water, and we're lucky enough that we have it delivered every month. You know, so it's not something that we lug from the grocery store necessarily.
Yeah.
But we like to always have at least 10 of those on hand.
Right. Plus what we use day to day.
Right.
So we usually have 3 for that we swap out during the week. But anyways, so yeah, so I can see where maybe these would come in handy, but they should really be the size of the whatever Epic towel or whatever it was,
Right.
the big Epic wipes. But yeah, because I don't think these are going to go very far.
It's a value of $2.85. So, if it's really, something that you want to look into, like creating packs for every member of your family, you could probably get a whole bunch of those.
Yeah, but what a pain in the ass. Because they're so small.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want to get something larger, and they may have them. It might be a product that they offer.
Right. We might look into that.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up, we have the Nuclear War Survival Skills book.
Okay.
Now this is really kind of cool because personally I don't know very much about it. Luckily, I'm sitting next to an expert.
Not an expert. My knowledge stems from the Marine Corps, where I went to NBC school, so Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical School. So I know a lot about like mustard gas and fallout and stuff like that, but my knowledge is 20 years old, right? So I still have that knowledge because you really don't forget what you learned in the Marine Corps. It's drilled into you pretty hard. But I'm sure that things have changed a little bit since then. So this book, I'm sure will have information, although it was only expanded in '87, so I might have about the same amount of, I don't know if I have the same knowledge or not. I'm sure I'll learn something from this book because I'm sure there's lots of different things in here.
Oh, good. Pictures.
Yeah, pictures. Those will help. Yeah. But the problem with, if you're talking about this is a great book. I think knowledge is power, right? And knowledge is priceless. So I will definitely read this, and I think this is a great addition to the box. I love when Battlebox puts useful books in the box, right? Here we go. Anyways, every time, right? Lately, it's been like every time.
I'm sorry, I have allergies.
But she's allergic to me, I think. But anyway, so this is a cool book. But all I'm saying is that for a nuclear explosion, depending upon where you are, you're doomed. But for nuclear fallout, because we have so many, like Fukushima and all that stuff, there's so many different nuclear power plants, even though they're relatively safe these days, something could happen. There could be some sort of sabotage or whatever, and that's a likely issue, right?
Right. So is there anything today that would have helped, like, say, Chernobyl?
Yeah. If it didn't melt down. There's a lot of safety measures that were put in since Chernobyl.
I know, but I mean, for like the surrounding neighborhoods that do happen to be around a nuclear plant, is there anything that those people can do today, besides get the hell out of Dodge?
Yeah, not really. In that scenario, because there was no alert system.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they had a bunch of cell phones and stuff that they could send stuff out to get people out of there. So people were living in fallout, and they were already radiated before they even knew to get help, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, here we are, how many years later, and from what I understand, children of people that were, affected by Chernobyl are still messed up.
Yeah, the only thing that's really cool about Chernobyl, I don't want to say cool, but great about Chernobyl is that there's so much nature that's grown up in that area because people can't live there.
Right.
But the animals are thriving in that area. They've learned to adapt to that radiation, right? And so there's tons of deer and wolves and fox and stuff like that have thrived in that area, right?
Sure.
And natural forestation and things like that. So nature was able to take over in that area. So I feel horrible for the people that got hurt and everything else. I mean, that sucks.
And the next generation.
And the next generation, absolutely, that's horrible. Yeah. But it is interesting how nature was able to bounce back in that area, even with it not being a livable area for human beings at this point.
So it's true. Nature finds a way.
It does find a way. Moving on.
Okay, so next up we have the rad triage, radiation. I don't know what that is.
Dosimeter?
Dosimeter card.
Yep. Yeah, so imagine dose, meter. So dosimeter. Dosimeter.
Dosimeter.
Yep.
Okay. So
it's measuring the dose of radiation that you're taking in. Yeah, I think it looks like somebody licked it shut, so that's why it's hard to open. See? Yeah, it's probably Brandon. Probably got Kern spit on it. He had to sit and lick all these closed.
Oh.
That sucks. Okay. But anyways, so that's what it looks like essentially. And what it is it'll tell you how much radiation you've taken in. And it's not electric, it's just it does it by reaction to the card. The problem with this type of card is it basically tells you when you're dead. You know, it tells you when you've had too much radiation. Yeah. So if you light up this card, you're pretty much toast at that point.
Okay, so if you happen to cross a body that has one of those on there, at least you'll know to get the heck out of there because you're about to die too.
Exactly. So these are good for 2 years. I guess you can store them in your freezer to make them last longer. But yeah. Interesting.
I'm a little bit freaked out by this now.
Yeah, I mean, you could wear this around. They make nice ones that are, you know, digital and things like that. And they make ones that light up. They make ones that beep. They make all sorts of funky ones. But at least with this one, you don't have to rely on electricity to kind of see what's going on. So that's pretty cool.
Sure. Okay, and then we have the radioactive waste bags, which are free.
Radioactive materials waste bags. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would ever use these for anything other than like Halloween or something. You know.
I was just thinking, what kind of practical use can we do with that for Halloween?
Not much. I mean, if I'm just, you know, if I'm having to bury radiological stuff in the backyard, I can use a black garbage bag. I don't have to use a yellow one. But, you know, I get the principle of it. And it's, you know, I mean, I could see if I was like in like a hazmat type situation where stuff like this would come in handy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if we'll actually use them. So it's just kind of a fun thing to have.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So we'll do something for Halloween with that.
Exactly.
My head's already spinning with ideas.
We'll do some sort of Walter White lab or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Darn it. I think you just gave away my Halloween costume.
There you go.
All right. Next up, in the advanced box.
Advanced box.
The $49.99 cost. We have the Polish MC1 gas mask at $14.95.
Okay. Okay, so it comes in this bag. Actually, I like the bag.
I really like the bag. I really want to use it as a purse.
Right?
I'm such a girl.
All right, so...
Is it a crossbody?
That is, yeah.
Ooh, it is a crossbody. I could use this as a purse.
There you go. So here's the mask. It's got like baby powder all over it. Keep it from getting gnarly, right?
Okay, so we're sure that's baby powder?
Yeah, it's definitely baby powder.
Okay.
I don't think it's anthrax. I don't think it's anthrax. If not, we'll find out real quick. And then it has a filter. Now these are like really, really old school. Basically, it's an old school charcoal filter. Triple charcoal filter. But anyways, so this goes over your shed melon, and then this kind of seals it around your face. So if you have a beard, it doesn't really seal. So it would work for you, but not me. But in reality, these things are really, really old. I'm sure that it would work great for like smoke inhalation. So if you had to get out of a fire, a lot of people die from smoke inhalation after a fire. So if you had one of these and you had to get out of a fire, this would work fantastic for something like that. But as far as trusting it for chemicals, I don't know if I would do that, because these are pretty old, and I really just don't know if that's... I mean, if that was the only thing you had, then yeah, maybe. But
Okay, so this might also be a Halloween prop for us.
could be. But if it was the only thing you had, I could see using it. But if it's not the only thing you have, then I would probably just use it for like if there's a fire or something like that and you had to get through smoke.
Okay.
Unlike mine, this is my personal one from the Marine Corps. Just to show you the difference. So this is my Marine Corps gas mask, and this is the Polish gas mask, right? So they make a new one of these, which is really cool. It has the detachable filters. These have the filters built into the inside. The other cool thing about these gas masks is they have a straw that you can push into a special, it's a special canteen. So you can drink purified water out of a special canteen.
Okay.
So these are pretty cool for that. And then it has this little flipper thing, and that flips the straw to your mouth on the inside. So yeah, so these are old school. The new ones are M50s, and you can pick them up on eBay for like a little over $100, $125, and we should probably get one of those. Those are the new school ones, and I would trust those. I trust this one. This one has gotten me through many a round of CS gas and all sorts of other gnarliness. I also have the mop suit that goes along with this, that this affixes to. This eye thing comes off and goes over the top. But anyways, so I trust this mask. I don't trust this mask. But like I said, for a fire, to filter your lungs out in a fire, that'd be great. But for chemicals, I would get something like this, or the new Avon M50. But anyways, gave me an excuse to pull up my gas mask, right?
So next up we have, is that the Seychelles radiological water filter straw?
Okay, here it is. So this is actually really cool. I'm glad we got it. So this will filter out any radioactive material and nasty not heavy metals and things like that from your water, and you can filter up to 25 gallons with this, and it includes the hose or faucet connector. But I would use this in line with like a Sawyer Mini or another water filtration source that filters out your Giardia and things like that, and any other contaminants. But any mercury or uranium or anything else that's in your waterway, this will filter out. But it's not going to filter out your other nasties, right? So your other nasties, you need a secondary water filtration system for that. But still, this is pretty cool, and it'll filter up to 25 gallons.
Okay, so we're on to the Pro Box.
Yes.
The $99.99 cost.
Mm-hmm.
So we have FT Labs Smart Geiger Radiation Detector with Keychain, $34.95.
Okay, so this is the Smart Geiger. They've come a long way with these things, man. So basically it's a Geiger counter that goes into your phone headphone jack.
Okay.
Remember when Geiger counters, they used to have the handle and they were like yay big and you know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Well, this does exactly the same thing as that.
Wow.
But connects to your phone.
Okay.
So in the event of a leak, or even like certain areas where the power lines are real heavy, or there could be a lot of different spills and x-rays and gamma rays and things like that in different areas, you can use your phone to figure that out, right? Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people have mentioned that, well, your phone won't work if there's an EMP blast. There would be an EMP blast if, say, there was a nuclear explosion, right? But a dirty bomb or things like that, that's different. There wouldn't be an EMP blast. But even if there is a nuclear blast which causes an EMP blast, which is limited range, right? If you use a Faraday bag or a Faraday cage, and you put an old cell phone in there, because the cell phone, when you're using this, you put the cell phone in airplane mode anyways. So it doesn't have to have a cellular signal to work. So you use a Faraday bag, you put your old phone in there, you put a solar powered charger in there, which we have, and then you don't have to worry about charging the phone after the attack, and you can use your Geiger counter if you have to. I highly suggest having an old phone preloaded with GPS software, so it can talk to the satellites, because your GPS works whether you have cellular service or not. And also having the Geiger counter software built onto the phone before you store it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think this is really cool. I'm very happy we got this. I didn't even know this existed. So, very cool.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so next up we have the Nanohack's Colloidal silver?
Colloidal.
Colloidal?
Yeah. So, colloidal silver, supposedly there's like a ton of good stuff, and it's supposed to kill a lot of bacteria and things like that. Colloidal silver is. Now it's not FDA approved, so right now they're kind of up in the air of what it's good for and what it's not good for and things like that, right?
I do know that if you have too much of it, it turns you blue.
It's a different type of silver. But yeah, you're correct in that was the big thing, that colloidal silver would turn you blue, like that guy that turned blue.
Yeah.
But what actually happened was he was making his own silver, which was larger particles, and then he would ingest that. This is nano silver, so it's nanoparticles. His were much bigger.
Okay.
Silver flakes, more or less. And then he would also rub it on the outside of his skin, and then he would go to a tanning booth to lock it in to help enhance making himself turn blue. So
he blued himself.
Yeah, he blew himself. but anyways, so yeah. So look into it. Make up your own minds. From what I've heard, there is enough backing saying that it is something beneficial for you, that I would absolutely try it in small amounts.
And not just for members of the Blue Man crew.
Okay. So awful. Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. So now we're finally at the Pro Plus, the Knife of the Month Club.
Booyah!
$149.99 cost.
Oh, you want me to say what it is, or are you going to read it off?
Oh, it's the Nook folding knife designed by, how do you say his name?
Liang Ma. And it's the Nook. See the line above the U?
Ooh.
Nook. Bo and Luke Nook.
No, I think that's different.
Oh, okay. So this is the Nook by Liang Ma, and it's very reminiscent of the Bastion Brazza, except for it's slightly more comfortable in the hand. It's not as heavy of a blade. It doesn't open quite as nice, but maybe with time it will. But it opens okay. Mine's a little tight yet, but with playing with it, it should be better. There we go. But anyways, and it has these inserts that light up, which you won't be able to see because of the green screen. But anyways, it has glowing inserts that along the back and along the inside here. I'll throw a picture up. But anyways, I like it. It's got a cool blade. It's got like a 3 different way grind, which is really cool. So you got your grind here, here, and here, which is pretty neat. It's definitely sharp. It's D2 steel. Looks like, does it say? It looks like titanium coating on the handles. It's very similar to, like I said, the Bastion Brazza, but less the inserts in the black blade. But yeah, cool knife. I actually really like it, and I think it's really comfortable in the hand. So very cool. And I don't have a Liang Ma knife. They're traditionally very, very expensive. Another cool thing about this knife is it was co-designed by Battlebox. So we're the first ones to have this knife. They do sell it on their site. I know they put a value of 150 on it.
Yeah.
But I know they're selling it on the Liangma site for, I believe, $100. But still, I mean, we paid $50 for it, so that's a great value, right? And I think it's a cool knife, and the fact that we're the first ones to have it is great. Typically, the Liangma knives go for like $400. You know, $350, $400. So, and it's cool that it came with the light. The box and everything really reminds me of Bastion. So I don't know if they use the same factory to make these or not. You see the box?
Yeah.
Very similar, right?
Right.
But yeah, and the material on the scales, that looks very similar. But anyways, it's still extremely cool, and I love Bastion. So having a different style Bastion type box knife from Liangma is very, very cool. This made the box for me.
Yeah. So I mean, the knife itself is $150 value. So it's like we paid for the knife and then got all the other stuff for free.
Kinda, and I dig the Geiger counter. How much was that?
That
$34.95, right? Yeah, $34.95. And the water filter, I think, is awesome.
Okay, and that was also $34.95.
Yeah, so there you go, right there. And then everything else you get as well. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Oh, it wasn't in there. Also, what do we got? Okay, so we have a Black Rifle Coffee Company sticker.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty cool.
Which, by the way, after the last box, we did get a second mug. That way we each have a mug. And we joined their coffee club, which we're loving.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then they have information on the colloidal silver, which we'll have to go online and check that stuff out.
Yeah.
And this is more on the nano silver stuff, and it does have a, I think there's like a book you can get if you put in this code.
Okay. We'll do
Which
that.
is cool.
Yeah.
What's that?
And then, what is this? Is that Seychelles? Okay, so it's 15% off.
Seychelles water filtration. Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
Awesome. So all in all, I would have to say probably not the most exciting box that we've ever gotten, but I can see where it would be a prepper box, right?
Yes.
Definitely a prepper box.
So I'm glad that Battlebox went back to its roots, essentially. You know, in kind of like the survival type stuff.
Right.
And I'm also glad that it's kind of a conversation starter too.
Right.
Because this isn't something that we are very prepared for, and I'm sure most people are not. So is some of this stuff going to make it into packs of some sort? Maybe, maybe not, but it makes me think that maybe we should have some sort of packs.
I think we should have a specific kit.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
In that event, right?
Right.
So that we have, and it doesn't have to be a huge kit, but just a specific kit that has those types of filters and things like that. Because, you know, what happens is you start building your kits and you build them so big that now it's like you don't want to grab it because it weighs 50 freaking pounds and it's got everything under the sun in it, right?
Right.
So I think we need to be more specific with this type kit because there's no sense in weighing down our other kits with things when this isn't the issue, right?
Right.
Whereas if we have a small lightweight kit that is dedicated to the nuclear radiation chemical stuff, that you know we can grab that kit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't think it's going to work its way into like an EDC bag.
Oh, heck no.
You know, by any means.
Right.
So yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. All right, guys, I think that's all I got on this box. Pretty cool, really digging the knife and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, the mask would be good for, you know, probably good for a fire, and maybe more than that, but I'm not going to trust my life on it. You know, I'd rather use one that I know absolutely works.
No, in all honesty, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Halloween prop.
Yeah, probably.
Which is cool. I mean, I don't mind getting something that's going to be a cool Halloween prop when there's other stuff, you know, in the box that's really awesomely useful.
Yeah.
And the value of it was actually $14.95, which we would probably spend $14.95 on Halloween prop anyway.
Oh yeah, we spend a lot of money on Halloween. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. But anyways, all right. So I guess that's all I got. I hope you guys have a good one. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Peace.
See ya.
Stay foxy. Do ya. Hoorah.